So good. So good. I don't talk.
So, if I were to ask you why this man is crying, why would you guess why?
Kansas City Chiefs fan after the Super Bowl.
I don't want to show people that I cry. Do I?
God. Would you be surprised to find out that the reason why he's crying is because his podcast guest said, no, I don't want to come on your podcast?
It's time to get wild.
That was wild. Welcome to That Was Wild. I'm Adam Macias, and this episode is going to be wild. This is a show where we celebrate the wild sides of life. This week's episode, we are going to talk about a ramen shop that put a bounty on a on a bad reviewer's head.
Okay.
We're going to talk
like that though.
Yeah, me too. And then we're going to talk about why it's a bad week for two white men having a podcast. But speaking of two white men having a podcast,
has there ever been a good week for that?
I think most
where
weeks
it came
are
out as a net positive for society.
I think this week it's finally retribution. But speaking of two white men having a podcast, I'm introducing the second white man of this podcast this week. My special white man of this podcast. That's what I'm going to start doing. This week's special white man of this podcast. I'm not going to start calling him guests. You love him.
You have to start just pointing out you're biracial, right?
I do have to do that. I'm enough biracial.
Bad week for white guys with a podcast, which we are not.
Yes, exactly. I have to start owning it. Especially in this climate. Well, no, I have to like. Hey, by the way, mostly white. Elon, hey Elon, I'm mostly white. Don't send me out to the camps yet. Anyways, you know him, you love him. He's an amazing freestyler. He's one of the most hilarious people. He's a returning champion of this podcast, of the live shows. It's Sam Harter, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, everyone? I forgot that it was a competition. Yes. I forgot that I won a competition.
There is a weird compartmentalization of the live shows and these shows.
It's very different.
It is. They're very different shows. It's almost like I should probably stop doing them because they're so different.
You should quit doing everything.
I should just quit comedy altogether.
You could rebrand.
Yes. Yeah. That was wild, and this is wild.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That might actually, you could make a backup YouTube channel.
Yeah, there you go.
For when Elon comes after this first one.
Exactly. When he finally discovers me talking shit about him.
Which he will. He name searches.
Oh, yeah,
clearly.
Definitely. I'm almost positive he's in my comments. I'm almost positive he's in my comments because he's just like, there's so many people, and I have this one video slightly going viral where I'm like slamming him right now.
Oh, cool.
And little bit of a flex. But anyways, there's some people just like, he's the greatest dad in the world. I'm like, I wasn't even talking about him being a dad. Like, who the is, and I'd be like, Elon, come on, man, do this in your mate if you're going to be this obvious, Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, how would you know that unless you were in his family?
Exactly.
And I mean, there's weirdos, and I think some Elon supporters are paid bots to some extent.
They're all paid bots. I truly believe that social media is just the end of a Target aisle. Like, we are just being sold. Mm-hmm. We're just being sold a product.
Have you ever talked to someone who isn't on social media all the time?
Yeah, dude.
They're so normal.
They're so normal.
And they don't want to talk about depressing shit.
Oh, it's. I used to think they're crazy, but I'm like, you had it right, dude.
The less I use social media and the less I look at news on social media,
yes,
the more content I am to just, find something to do with my day.
Yes.
Personally, maybe I'll watch a movie. Maybe I'll play a video game, listen to some music. Write some comedy.
It's very conflicting because I'm like, but I should be paying attention to like what's going on.
But I agree. But when's the last time something happened in the government and then your life actually changed significantly?
Truly, right? Like, my life has not changed, but I should know what's going on. But I'm like, but is it helping my life? Like, I'm literally like wanting to I'm getting upset at my dog who's like literally smelling the flowers too long on his walk because I need to go inside and like make a video about this,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, yeah, fucked up.
Content creation can also kill your brain.
Yes.
I think as two guys who are I don't want to say forced to do it.
We're literally 1 minute into content creation. We're like,
this.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. The thing is, it's not bad. I enjoy content. I podcast at least once a week.
Yeah.
I stream once a week.
You stream. Let's talk about that. That's an interesting thing you do. You stream usually like IRL in a locale, like on a bus or something
Usually
like that, right?
somewhere around my neighborhood. Sometimes not if I can get access to a car. We've gone to Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Sometimes we go to West Hollywood, which I could go on my own. But it's easier to go there on the train where I don't get reception.
Well, so why do you do that?
I like doing it. Well, it started because I like watching other streamers.
Okay.
Which they could have their own episode of That Was Wild podcast.
They really do. Like the whole Kick stuff, like streaming on Kick?
Kind of adjacent to that.
Okay.
I found a guy who lives in like Lenore, Hickory area in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
It's it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he has got some friends, and they're all like current or former drug addicts. And they would just at one point.
Don't we all?
At one point, they were current, and they would use the stream for funds to get money for fentanyl. And then they would do it on the stream.
Wow. That sounds a lot like how this show used to be, actually.
It's much more compelling than this podcast. I'm going to be honest. It's much more compelling than movies.
No,
because you're like, is this character going to die? No, is this human going to die?
Well, that's what we used to do on the show. So we used to go on Omegle, and we clearly
I remember that.
Yeah, we would go
see dudes' dicks.
See dudes' dicks, and we would definitely meet fentanyl addicts and stuff. And we're like, yeah, is this guy about to die right now and stuff?
So yeah, I saw that, and then I saw other people who just kind of walk around, because sometimes those guys also walk around. They're not always just doing fentanyl. Sometimes they're doing methadone.
Yeah, sometimes they're doing meth and they're forced to move around a little bit. Yeah.
And it inspired me, like, oh, you can go out and see people, and you can show your personality too.
Okay.
Like as a comic or as a, I have my friend who I do my podcast with, Rivers Langley, come out a lot.
That's a great name. And you're out there roasting people. You're like, hey, nice shirt, you dickhead.
It's not even that. It's like,
hey, what's with the shoes? You're going to the opera,
I think it's more that we're willing to have the confidence to talk to a stranger and roll with the punches.
Yes.
Kind of as a comic.
Yeah,
and I don't want to go out and make fun of people to their face. Frequently what happens is I'm walking down the street and some person I don't even know is like, why the are you filming me? I'm like, I literally didn't know you existed. But yeah, now I'm filming you, I guess. But it's fun, though. We go and just do different stuff. I don't look to get in confrontations with people. I know some of those streamers legitimately do.
Oh, of course they do. Yeah.
And I don't want to be an asshole. I'd be a fentanyl addict, but not an asshole.
That's fair.
One time, some lady stole my order at Jack in the Box, or attempted to. I thwarted it.
You thwarted it?
Yeah.
Well, how did you thwart it?
By grabbing the bag back.
Oh, very easily.
Yeah, she didn't put up much of a fight.
Wait, how did she try to steal it? She just was like, we
were at the counter and they put the order down and then she snatched it and tried to run.
Wow. Swiper, no swiping.
And then she came back like 15 minutes later and tried to order like it didn't happen. And they were like, we're not going to take your order. But, I run into homeless people who are just regular and want to talk.
I will say you do seem to, this is why I find you a very fascinating person. You're a chill dude. You're a great thinker, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I find your thoughts very interesting. You live a very interesting life.
People say that about me sometimes, and I never know what that means. Yesterday, I saw someone and they're like, oh, yeah, they found out I live in a bad neighborhood, and they're like, oh, yeah, you always seem kind of hard. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's because you always have a boner.
That's right. I guess it's I have the face of a man who walks past gang graffiti and drug addicts every day.
No, you seem chill, you seem like a classic, you're into death metal or something like that. But then I find out, oh, you have a rich history of hanging out with people who are on the edges of society, I would say.
Yeah. I used to do drugs, and I I grew up in a poor neighborhood, and that'll do it more than anything.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Where
knew
you grow
some
up.
of the shady characters before I even touched drugs.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different story.
100%.
But yeah, I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah, yes.
So
You got out of it.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly. It took a while.
You famously
It took a while.
Well, you told a story on my show one time about a man named Crime Spree Lee.
Yes, I did.
And that's I think we talked about it on the podcast, but then we also you did it on my live show. Speaking of This Was Wild,
the live show.
The live show,
Different.
of a stand-up show called Crime Spree Lee, which is a great name. Which I will say, shout out to people who are in the arts of criminality. You know how to make some good names.
The thing about, and this is why I like the IRL streamers from Lenore who do drugs. Drug addicts and prisoners have so much time on their hands. They're so good at joking and riffing.
Yes.
They're like comics in that regard.
Yes,
they have nothing to do but around. So, they end up being funny often.
True. Crime Spree Lee is just a good name. It's just a good, like, what, how did he earn it? I want to know.
He went on a crime spree, clearly. I mean, but that's the thing also that's of course not his real name. I don't even know if Lee is his real name.
That's why I want to know. Did he earn that? Like,
of course. Yeah. He did not, he didn't like Kobe Black Mamba himself.
What would be your crime name?
I don't know. Someone else has to give it to you.
Yeah.
Right? You get enough with the name like Stabber or something for a reason.
It's got to be like what rhymes with Adam? Like is there a crime that
What's your middle name?
Robert.
Robber.
Adam the Robber Macias.
Yeah. But it's more of the crime you commit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
like strangle him, Adam. I don't know. It doesn't have to have the rhyming. I don't think most of them don't rhyme.
Killing the Madam Adam.
I guess if you killed your wife, which I don't know. Does she listen to this?
Not yet.
Does she listen to
Not
this?
yet. She keeps acting this way. She keeps telling me to be some. Yeah, you don't listen to me.
She's gonna keep telling me get a job and quit this podcast bull. Kill her.
Strangle the Madam Adam.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, people like you're joking about it. We're joking about it. You don't want that name.
Crime Spree Lee?
You don't want a crime name to do what you have to do to earn that name.
Yeah.
And I would think even Lee would agree with this.
Yeah.
Most guys who have gone into jail get out and they're like, that was stupid. There's really dumb ones that are like, that was cool.
That was true.
Because I'm an idiot.
That's true. Yeah. It is funny that, considering what's going on in the world right now, especially in America, like the people do get reformed outside from jail. It does work.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the person for sure. But getting back to where I realized I got so off topic here. Speaking of content online, I put that video of me talking about Crime Spree Lee on the internet.
Yes.
Thinking nothing of it. No one ever, I don't get tons of views.
Yeah.
But he either named searched or some mutual we have.
Yeah.
Because I did learn we have mutuals. Told him about it.
Do you want to recap the story of that video real quick?
Yeah, the story is that I was really up one night, ended up at a house party, met a man who's offered to sell me GHB, which is like a heavy downer.
Yes.
I took it.
Yeah.
Found out his name was Crime Spree Lee. Watched him break a TV in the backyard and then reach inside of it and grab out a piece of what I later found is, he said, magnesium, and you can use it to cook meth with.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's pretty cool. I don't know. Because I was in my drug phase at that point. I think I was.
This guy's hella sick, dude.
That was at a point when I would do like, I don't know, people call it speedballs, but I would do heroin and cocaine in the same night.
Yeah.
Does that count as a speedball? I wouldn't mix them together.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a matter of how quickly they would be. Like
back and forth.
that's a speedball.
Yeah. Too close to each other for me to really be like in the same night.
The same night, I'm thinking like within like 6 hours apart. It's like, where they're back and forth.
Yeah. Oh, we ran out of Coke 15 minutes ago. Time to come down. Yeah. But so buying the GHB seemed normal. Learning that the guy also makes meth seemed normal.
Uh-huh.
The reason why we were at this party was there was bands playing in the backyard. It was like a house show. You're a musician. You know, those are often very fun.
Very fun and usually filled with lots of debauchery.
Yeah, because it's a free show. It doesn't have, sometimes you have a show that costs $5. That'll keep some riffraff out. For some reason.
You would be surprised what a $5 will hold back from a show. Yeah.
For real, though.
Yeah. Next time you're at a bar and you're like, $5, know that Crime Spree League is being like, damn it, $5.
Dude, so many people. I mean, I remember being like that.
Yeah.
And thinking like, man, if all of us threw together $5, we could get a bottle. We could get some weed, know.
We could have a good time.
You start thinking dumb thoughts like that.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, we could see a musician who tries their hardest and really wants to do good, play a local show.
Yeah.
But I could go there and just get trashed and not remember a single thing about it, which is actually what happened.
Yep.
I can't remember the music at all.
Oh, God, no. Yeah.
But Crime Spree Lee got in the mosh pit, ripped off his shirt, and that's where I learned where he got his name. Really. Not really learned, but got the idea because he had Aryan tattooed across his stomach.
That's right. And you told this story. This was all part of my live show where it was like the story, the point of it was telling a that was wild story. I will point out that Crime Spree Lee, GHB, Broke a TV, for some Magni is all a great freestyle rap already.
It could be a poem, really. Slam poetry, yeah.
All that for that Aryan knee.
Yeah, you're like the Eminem of this situation.
Just writing it down.
Every line has to rhyme. Every line has to rhyme.
I'm just putting it in there just for the eventual freestyle that will happen at the end of this.
It's addictive, huh?
It's so much.
Freestyling is addictive.
It's so much.
Once you get in your brain, you just can't stop.
Anytime anybody was like, oh, you freestyle? Well, we're gonna do it. I'm bad at it, but we're gonna do it. Anyways.
Yeah. So I put that bit online.
Great bit.
And after a long time, someone comments on it and they say that it's them on the YouTube. They say that it's like that's the person they are that I'm talking about. It's Crime Spree Lee. And at first I didn't know what to believe. I kind of was like, whatever. Didn't necessarily believe it, but also was like, I don't want to respond to this guy.
Fake news.
Necessarily, because I don't want to respond as possibly a fake guy.
Yeah.
And so then months went by, and I got an email from a guy named Crime Spree Lee. It was the actual Crime Spree Lee.
Crime Spree Lee at Gmail.
And I know it was the actual Crime Spree Lee because he sent pictures of himself with it. With the email, so I knew it was him for sure.
Wild.
Because he has the same tattoo. I already talked with Adam.
Was it shirtless?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you the picture, but I don't want to put it out online because,
I think legitimately if you were to if I were to show this picture, I don't think we could show the Aryan part of it. So anyway,
I mean, the thing is, if it was just that, it would be one thing, but he has a bunch of other tattoos. I don't want him to be identified as this, cool. As a criminal, because it seems like, because he contacted me through email, it seems like he's doing good now.
Oh, good.
From what I can tell, he's maybe turned his life around.
Yeah.
And, so I don't want to put his face out there as like, oh, here's a bad guy.
He's crime-free, Lee.
Dude, if that would be a great, that would be a great name.
Yeah.
But yeah, he emailed me kind of just wanting to know what the deal is because he didn't remember meeting me.
Of course.
He was, and I'll just, right now, I'll just read the email.
Also, by the way, the thing with GHB is that you forget. That is part of it. The memory, you could do memory loss. It's a date rape drug, by the way.
People say that, but it's a drug like Xanax can be that too.
Yeah.
People used to take it to get up, and then the rapists ruined it for everyone.
True. It usually happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
It's like all I wanted to do was drug myself.
Because it does come in a dropper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like it does.
It's a liquid. Yeah, it was salty.
Yeah.
I remember that about it. It gets a bad rap, this GHB. Some people just want to take it for themselves and not be a weirdo.
Yeah, these damn rapists keep ruining things. Those Cosby sweaters, they're so comfortable. But you can't wear them these days because Cosby ruined them.
You better not. Don't even think about it. So he emailed me and I just wanted to read
great.
the email. And there's nothing really. And this is why I think he turned his life around, because the email is pretty positive.
Oh, good.
He says, "What's up, man?" Which, at first when he contacted me, I was like, oh, this guy could be pissed off considering what I'm talking about.
What's up, man is that what's up, man? Or is it, what's up, man? Like, what's up, man?
I read it as the first way.
Okay.
Wow, my GHB days were a haze. Mine too. I got back out of prison and then on my sailboat.
Wow.
So that's positive.
A sailboat.
Yeah, and he's moved out of where we met to a different state.
Yes.
Also the same state I live in.
I mean, a sailboat requires money to maintain that.
Yeah, exactly. Owning a boat's not cheap. If you own a boat, you're either real poor or real rich.
Wow.
No, there's a middle ground too, but it's the type of boat. Sailboats are usually, you have to keep them nice. You can't keep a sailboat.
It's true.
So he says, I'm on my sailboat, been most of my time in Tijuana, being crime spree to the fullest! !
All right, so maybe not the crime freely I was talking about.
That's the thing. You could go down to Tijuana and not be a weirdo. Tijuana gets a bad rap. Yeah, there's stuff going on. You don't have to participate in it.
I mean, he's saying being. Okay, all right.
I think he's joking around.
Okay.
This email seems very in jest.
Okay.
For my opinion.
Okay.
And that's, there's no tone in text. Maybe he's furious. I didn't get that. He didn't seem mad at me.
He doesn't seem mad.
I think in some way he's maybe flattered that I remembered him so much that it, inspired something,
How funny would it be to get an email, though, from like a random. How great would it be to be like, just be scrolling the internet one day and be like, yeah, man, I met this man named Strangled a Madam Adam. And he took his shirt off and he had this tattoo of a pirate on his arm there, and he smashed a TV over his head, and it was the craziest night of my life, and I have no memory of it at all.
Yeah.
I would be like, what's up, dude? Of course I'd be like, what? Yeah, that's crazy. You remember me. Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
That would be a mind.
And I think it also comes back to, people, I used to do drugs and sit around and do nothing. When you're in prison, you sit around and do nothing. Yeah. So having a little joke, is fun.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm making fun of him in the bit. I'm kind of just, laying down what happened, commenting on it a little bit.
Totally.
So it's, it was I don't think he was offended by it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just goes back to like, he thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And because he's being crime spree to the fullest! ! And then what also makes me think is he's not that pissed is the next sentence is, how's your comedy going? Which is like something like your family asks you. But that's, just
how
something.
Those little skits doing?
So yeah, something that people who don't know, but it's like asking any artist, how's your painting going? How's your music going?
Yeah, he's just checking in on you.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, honestly, like, that's nice that he had a question for me. And then he said, I've been busy. Check me out on Gangland, the Aryan Terror episode.
What
cementing it, I was like, okay, this has to be him for sure. And let me just read this last sentence. Holler back, man. I'm curious as hell to talk to you. And then he shows the picture of himself, which I'll show Adam.
Yeah.
You can see at the bottom that I am not lying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
And then he sent me some other pictures too. And definitely, he sent me a picture where he looked like exactly how he looked when I met him.
Oh, okay.
So, and he sent me some other pictures, and I think some of the pictures might be the ones from the Gangland episode he's referring to.
Gotcha.
I actually did look up the episode. He isn't interviewed in it, but there are lots of pictures of just groups of guys on the yard you know,
Okay.
outdoors in prison.
Gotcha.
On the yard, they call it.
Mhm.
And just see groups of pictures like those, because he also sent a picture that looked like one of those. And I think, yeah, he was featured on this nationally televised show on cable.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
For
So
being a part of the Texas branch of the Aryan Brotherhood.
wild.
Yeah.
Wild. So, and how long ago was that episode? Did you see when it was put
It was
out?
from a while ago.
Okay,
It was a long time ago. It's not like he was on some recent shit. I think he is kind of out of it. Because I emailed him back and I explained, like, we were at the same party. Like, I got invited through these people, and I know that you also knew them. And I don't know if he like got weirded out by that. He never responded to me. But I was, cordial to him. And I honestly would talk to him more.
Yeah.
I'm really happy whenever I meet someone like that who I knew who was having, issues with the law and they stopped. Like,
Yes.
that's so awesome.
It is.
to me.
It is great to see, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially somebody with like that commits to it obviously that much with like a tattoo.
Yeah, he was deep in it.
Yes.
He ended up on an episode of a show about gangs.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, that's not at the end of his life, he's not going to be like, whoa, that was one of my proudest achievements. And I know that because he's not in the jail anymore. He doesn't want to be involved in that.
I mean, from my experience, in a weird way, they are proud of it, but not in like, oh yeah, check me out. They're more like, yeah, that was me. I was crazy back then.
Exactly.
But this is who I am.
They're
now.
like, at a point, I was the man.
Yeah.
I was a badass. I would you up.
Yeah.
In retrospect, being that dude wasn't the best idea.
It's just like they were proud maybe of themselves, like that idea of themselves,
Uh-huh.
but they also know that like they have a wisdom to themselves a little bit more.
Yeah,
now.
and that's what happens with the dudes who change. They really do have
Yeah.
I don't want to say come to Jesus moment because I don't like that term, but they have, an epiphany
Yes.
in their life where they're
Yes.
like, this isn't the way to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a sailboat and chill.
That's so crazy.
But
So
I mean,
crazy.
I get it. Having a sailboat and chilling.
Hey.
If I wasn't doing comedy, what else would I be doing? I don't know. I don't spend that much time on boats.
I mean, hey, I'll tell you this. Sailing is hard. And
it
honestly,
is. It's a skill.
and hey, one thing is for sure. It is a white man's game. That is for sure. That is a white man's game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't spend a lot of time on boats. I don't have enough evidence to argue that, but it wouldn't seem incorrect.
You earn enough Aryan points, they give you a
Right.
sailboat.
And this was the part of the podcast where we both became racist too.
Wild. Thank you for that update. Shout out to
Yeah.
Crime Free or Crime Spree Lee.
Let's call him Crime Free Lee.
Crime Free Lee.
I really do wish him the best.
Yeah, same. Same. I hope you're doing good. But speaking of crimes, let's move on to the wild things happening in the world. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, I'm not ready. For the world, ooh, not ready. But let's do it anyway.
Okay, so this is a crazy story. A ramen shop owner has placed a cash bounty on heads of customers who left a bad review.
Ooh.
The owner of Tokyo Juri, a highly rated gyro-style ramen restaurant in Kyoto, Japan, took to Instagram. An Instagram post threatening the duo who slipped his eatery with an awful 1-star review.
All right. I mean, I've seen this before. I think it's not in poor taste, but the optics are bad when the owner responds very snarkily or threateningly.
Well,
it doesn't look good for the establishment.
Definitely not. One is in poor taste, and the other said it tasted poor. Okay. All right. He also posted their photo along with a cash reward, whoever could identify them, according to Dextero. I saw your post, and you seem a bit weird. We try not to treat people like you as customers, so it's fine, the owner said.
So he's basically just like, yeah, we treated you like, and you deserved it. You aren't even a cut. Like, it's like, when you excommunicate someone from your family.
Yeah.
Like, you aren't even a customer to me. But I will say, from working in restaurants, chefs and restaurant employees can be some of the angriest people ever.
They're so stressed.
It can be stressful, and also you can make it stressful without it actually being stressful. It's one of those things that if you're all anxious and want everything to be perfect, it gives you so many opportunities to freak out.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you so many.
I think restaurant especially attract people who grew up in like toxic households, for sure. Like you grow up, you're like, oh yeah, I thrive in chaos. Like I can operate this all day. You know, like I'm used to people flipping out. It's like literally like the bear. You know what I mean? Like literally, like I grew up in this. I'm used to chaos and toxicity. Like
I think there's some of that for sure. I think there's elements to it also where it's like you can get a kitchen job without having experience in anything.
That's true.
Like it's one of those places where like we'll train you. You never had a job before, or you know, a lot of people. I have worked with people who in and out of jail, not for nothing serious.
Oh yeah,
it's a job that'll take people like that.
Dishwashers for sure. I've
been a dishwasher plenty of times.
100%. Started off as a dishwasher, worked myself up to a waiter. Done that.
When people like ask me about washing dishes these days, I'm like, I'm a professional, literally.
Yes,
I'm a professional dishwasher.
People don't understand when you get hired as a dishwasher, like. I'm a professional dishwasher.
If I criticize my girlfriend or roommate for not doing a good enough job washing a dish, I know what I'm talking about.
I literally know what I'm talking about. I know how to wash a dish professionally. Like I can do it exactly, dude.
And he comes off as a dick and pretentious to show off our knowledge and intelligence and skill, but
it's such a useful thing. It's literally so useful. Yes, you soak it for this amount of time.
You can't use the same tool for everything. You can't use a scrubber. You have to use a sponge too.
Yeah.
Because a scrubber is not going to get the grease off.
Hey, grab that fork, start scraping it off. Oh, it's just out of the oven. That's why you clean it immediately. Mm-hmm. You clean that immediately because that's the best time to clean it. Don't let that cool down.
I highly recommend making your food extremely hot right before you take it out of the pan, because then it's so hot you can't immediately eat it. You're like, I gotta clean the pan.
Yes.
Other than that, I'm just standing around waiting for my food to cool off.
All right. Let's get
you
back.
You need an ad blocker like a mother.
I know, dude.
You could get a free one that would do a better job than this.
Okay, but you should probably avoid eating out, says the restaurant. Someday someone like you will get screwed. I don't care. Just come directly and I'll deal with you. Damn. Wow. The restaurant also posted on Instagram story offering a reward of 100,000 yen. $662. Oh, actually, that's not that much. That's kind of per customer.
That's just for to identify them, not to up.
Yeah. The only thing he could do is come back, eat again, and write a good review with a photo. I told him I would forgive him otherwise. All right. Fucking bullshit.
No, here's where he actually threatens it.
I told him I won't forgive him otherwise, not even for the safety of his family. Wow. If he does that, he'll be right away. This kid is so scared.
So that ups the ante from, okay, we want to identify this guy to, I'm going to his family. I'm going to his kids. Oh, my ramen, the noodles weren't firm enough. How about I murk you? How about I come to your house with a butcher knife and you, cut, post a picture on Yelp? What are you going to do then?
You leave a 1-star review for the murder of my family.
That really ramped up in aggressiveness. First, it was like, say it to my face type thing.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, I don't care. I'm going to say it to your family as I'm killing them.
Yeah. Identify him so I can your family. Have you ever left a 1-star review on Yelp?
I think I have left. I can't remember because I don't have a Yelp account.
You don't have a Yelp account?
I do have a Google.
Okay.
I think.
What did you?
One time, okay, this is another great drug story.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
One time I was an opiate addict, heroin or I don't know, Oxycontin. I don't know if I
can't start that sentence with one time.
One time in my life. One time for like several years.
Okay. All right.
And I couldn't get any. I was out. I couldn't get any. I start jonesing.
Okay.
I start feeling bad.
That's as you do. Which
they tell you about before you go in.
Yeah.
And you're like, Whatever. That's probably nothing.
Hey, by the way, you're gonna need more of this. Hey, by the way, you're gonna want more.
Yeah.
This shit's so good. Let me know when you need more.
So yeah, I found out I could get some Oxycontin.
Okay.
Drove to the other part of town, got it, and also I was jonesing so hard I hadn't eaten that day.
Okay.
So I dropped by the old A&W / Long John Silver's combo. Most people might not even know that exists.
That is a
They're owned by
non-city. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And this was in Austin, Texas.
Wait.
They should have better than this.
That's actually wild. I didn't know they combined those two.
It's like a Pizza Hut Taco Bell. It's like, why would this exist? But I guess they're like, we have the means to make French fries. Why not also do fish and burgers?
Two absolutely dying brands.
Mm-hmm.
It's like two dead soldiers on a battlefield. Like, here, you help me.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's great branding to be like, yeah, we still exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think A&W might have started as a restaurant before it was just a straight up root beer.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just me guessing. Anyways, I'm like, I should eat before I start doing drugs. It'll make me feel better.
Hey,
you don't want to do a bunch of drugs on an empty stomach. You will feel bad.
Well, especially if you're ingesting it or you're going to snort it.
I was going to snort it.
Okay.
And or probably both. Eat a little piece, snort a little piece. Why not?
Hey, it's your Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, when you go and cop the dope when you're jonesing, that's almost a little high in itself.
Wow.
And any junkie will tell you that. It's true. Like, it's not even necessarily the jonesing. It's
a little retail therapy.
It's the anxiety of not knowing if you're going to get it.
Oh.
And then it's like, oh, I got this thing I wanted.
Yes.
When I get home, everything's going to be great,
Yes.
So I go through the A&W, I order the burger, but I don't want whatever sauce they put on it. And the guy was like, oh, well, do you want anything else like mustard or mayonnaise or ketchup? And like normally that doesn't happen. They just go, oh, okay, whatever. And then I was like, damn, what a really nice thing to do. I got mayonnaise or something on it instead. And I was like, he went above and beyond. And I went home and I got high. And then I was still thinking about it. And I went on the A&W Long John Silver's website and was like, yo, these guys are doing such a good job over there. They deserve raises. Like, I just wanted to tell you how satisfied I was with the experience. So know that some of those Yelp reviews, the person's high on Oxycontin. The experience may have been good, but also they may be just having a great day at that point.
I love that so
I
much.
remember that more than I remember leaving a 1-star. It seems like it's hard to believe I haven't.
I left a 1-star review for a theater show one time.
Okay.
And it was because they simulated a mass shooting threat for the audience and didn't tell them that they were going to do that.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad theater.
Yeah, so imagine this, like
a thing that we're all legitimately concerned about in America.
Like imagine let's say we were watching a show, right? And let's say right now this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like you and I were talking and my wife knocked on the door and it wouldn't be like, hey, and there was like a loud bang, and then my wife came in and would be like, hey, we just got word that there's a mass shooting outside. There's somebody with a gun outside in the campus. We were just told to stay in here. That's essentially what they did in the middle of a production of their show.
And probably no one in the audience knew.
No one in the audience knew. We were all like, what the what's going on? The whole lights came up. They're all like, what's happening?
What kind of art house bullshit production is this?
And the show was called like Sanctuary or something like that, right?
Of course.
Right?
Of course it's got some dumb name
some
like that.
Stupid name, right? And they were just like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then like the house manager and the artists were all suddenly like weirdly coalescing in the middle of the theater. And it's just like, good thing we have a Sanctuary. Lights out. Intermission. I was like, fuck you. I was literally like,
Did people leave?
I was like,
I would have left.
And by the way, the thing they interrupted was like my friend, it was like a series of vignettes of like scenes
Okay.
The scene they interrupted was like my friend's scene. And I think she had another scene coming up. So I was like my wife's like best friend was in this play. And I was like, we have to stay. And I was like, it's bullshit. I have been in actual active shooter situations before. I was so triggered. Like literally, I was like, I need to leave. I was like, we gotta go. Like I was like ready to go.
Did people leave after the intermission?
No, people were just apparently there was like a warning or something like I didn't actually read. Like, hey, by the way, like trigger warning. They didn't say like mass shooting thing, but it's just like, hey, like loud noises or some shit like that. Like, hey, by the way, triggering subject matter or something. But like not actually like, hey, there's gonna be. Anyways, I left a 1-star.
I was at Disneyland at the Haunted Mansion line recently, and I heard the employee trying to explain to the daughter like, dad, like death is referenced. like it was being so like casual. It's like, look, it's you know, it's a little scary. It's not that bad.
Death is referenced. If you ever heard of ghosties,
yeah. But that's like a much more accurate and subtle warning than you're gonna hear a gunshot and then we're gonna pretend like it's real.
Yeah. So what I did was I left a 1-star review for the thing. I was just like, they should be ashamed for themselves. This is absolutely appalling. Why? How could you ever do this? And I didn't tell my friend I was going to do this. And apparently...
it was her idea. it was.
Apparently, yeah. I found out that like she was apparently pissed. It was like a whole fucking thing. She was apparently pissed that I didn't come to her and all this stuff. It was like a whole fucking thing. She like asked me to take down the 1-star review and all this stuff. And like, it was a whole bit of drama and stuff like that. But I was like...
That rules though. You spoke your mind in a public way.
Yeah.
Some people would say you put your foot in your mouth. I say you said some real ass shit and you hurt the feelings of an idiot.
Yeah. I would, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I left, I was like, I think I did take it down, but I was like, you know what? The people that needed to read it, read it. I found out they had a whole ass meeting about it.
Good.
And you know what? I was like, cool. As long as you guys saw it, that's all that matters to me. I hope you never do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will keep talking about it because it's stupid. Like, so you're not going to stop me from talking about it. I took down the review. Like, who gives a shit? I guarantee none of those people are doing art still. So who cares?
The fact that you saying that caused so much people or so much upsetness or anxiety with it proves that they knew it was wrong.
Yes.
You don't have if you get a 1-star review, you don't have a meeting about it unless some shit went bad.
Like apparently they were just like, did you hear about this 1-star review? They like literally like the dream of a 1-star reviewer.
Well, I mean,
the dream of it.
That's a 1-star review that would be enough that people would be like, okay, I don't want to see this show.
Yeah.
It seems, lame.
You know what I mean? The dream of this guy who like the dream of this dude's 1-star review of a ramen place. Like, that's not going to happen for a restaurant, right? Like, like they're not doing that. But this restaurant is, like,
some people say food's an art too. Cooking is an art. Like bad theater is art.
Watch, my friend's gonna put a bounty on my head now.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, worth it too.
Good publicity for the podcast.
Yeah. But speaking of publicity for a podcast, we should probably talk about bad publicity for a podcast.
Which they say there is no bad publicity. And with the algorithm and interactions, they might be right.
Oh my God.
They might be right.
It's a bad week for men to have podcasts. I will say this. Do you know who Rebecca Goodwin is?
Fuck no. Who is that?
She is an OnlyFans model.
Oh yeah, I know who that is. That's like me saying I'm a comedian. Like I am, but who the fuck has heard of me?
So have you heard about Rebecca Goodwin storming off of the Reality Check podcast?
No, but that sounds like the kind of podcast you should walk off of.
Truly. Okay. So Rebecca Goodwin, she was invited to this podcast where apparently these bros wanted to talk to her about her career as an OnlyFans model. And she apparently stormed out of it. Do you want to see the video of her?
Absolutely.
Her talking about her experience?
Story time. So I've just driven 3 hours, or I've been driven 3 hours to Croydon to do a podcast, okay? Now, this was an unpaid podcast. I thought I was helping people out. I was happy to come all this way with no payment whatsoever to try and, be in with the scene. And when I got there, it was 3 men in their apartment, and they sat me down. They showed me a patch of water on their sofa where they made the last guest squirt. They then decided to talk over me the whole podcast so that I couldn't say anything. They told me that I was a waste of space and I did nothing for society. I mean this with all disrespect, the reality check show, but I paid £238,000 in tax last year. What the did your podcast do for society? You know what? It's really funny because one of the guys that was there is literally an OnlyFans model, and all they do is drag OnlyFans girls down to absolutely rip them to shit. No,
Okay,
So this is one of those incel right-wing podcasts where they hate women.
it's like I think we have a version of that called like Fit Check or whatever the that one is. Where
This is a genre of online entertainment.
Yes,
we talk about content. This is a genre of content.
Yeah,
just women hatred.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's such a weird thing because all these guys jack off to porn.
Yeah.
But they want to treat the porn star like they're some bad person. It's like, you jack off to that, dude.
It's rage baiting to its fullest, like I was saying.
And I believe these guys do hate women.
Oh, 100%. So here is the video of her actually walking out.
What are you doing with that money?
Already, what a douchebag.
Pocket watching. They call this pocket watching. When you're concerned about how much money someone has and what they're doing with it.
Yes.
And it's tended to be looked down upon.
It goes into property, so I'm doing the affordable housing scheme, which is where I buy property outright, usually like 2-bedroom terrace, and we rent them out, we being me and my business partner, we rent them out to people that are low-income families.
So she literally is talking about how she uses her money for good to she rents them, she takes her money from OF.
Mm-hmm. I don't like how she referred to it as a scheme at first. I was like, is this lady a horrible, a slumlord?
Yeah.
Apart from the things you're doing with charity and that, which is really good, by the way,
what
are you actually contributing to society?
They're just so trying to rail her. Like the irony of this, of trying to an OnlyFans star.
Contributing to society is such a subjective thing, too. Like, these guys would argue they are doing that.
They're trying to essentially be like, what do you do with that money? Okay, cool. My answer is I'm buying homes and renting them out for low-income homes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a huge tax bill. That is more than most people do to contribute to society. And they're like, but what do you do?
I get online and I tell men to quit being bitches,
but then
letting women emasculate them. Again, why are you in someone else's business? Like, this isn't a friend or family member. It's one of those things. It's like, if you had me on this podcast just to treat me like shit,
yes,
I would probably also walk out.
Yeah.
And I've seen that before with other interviewers where somebody will post the clip and be like, so-and-so walked out on this or reacted badly to this interview. It's like, the interviewer is baiting them into something, so they should walk out.
And honestly, feel free to walk out at any time.
Okay, you've been nice. You've been very polite to me.
It'd be great for views. If you want to walk out at any time, just let me know, dog.
Said I shouldn't buy the Kanye merch.
God. Oh my God. Okay, so here we go.
Do you think it's a bit of a waste? You're giving the UK government so much money. Like, they're just throwing it all away.
You think I want to give the UK government...
Why don't you leave?
Why don't I leave what?
You got the money. Why don't you leave the UK?
Because I've got children.
Yeah, take them.
They don't want to be here. They do want to be here. I've already asked this. We already went.
I don't know where else they want to.
They've travelled a lot. I took them out of school for it was a 6-week holidays, and we got a motorhome and we drove from Cornwall, or from Chesterfield to Cornwall, back up to the Lake District in 6 weeks.
This takes some British knowledge, but essentially they're asking her like, hey, why don't you just leave England? Essentially, like, they're just like, I don't know why, but hey, you hate it here because you pay so much taxes. Why don't you leave?
Is she even saying that? It
Yeah,
seems like
it
seems like they're just doing the internet debate thing where they're just like, well, something else that's different.
Yeah.
Well, you responded to that coherently. Well, what about this other thing? I'm not even going to acknowledge that you responded coherently.
It's very strange. So essentially she's like, hey, you should leave America. Just like how everybody in like California, you should leave California, get out of, it's a very Joe Rogan sort of thing because of taxes.
This sounds so like liberal, feminist, stupid right now. And some people are going to say that, but when women are free sexually, it offends men so much.
Yes.
Because their whole idea of a woman and what a woman should be is just challenged right in front of their eyes.
Yeah.
And some of them just can't stand it.
Yeah.
They can't stand that this woman is doing things that society doesn't say they should do. And they want to be the one to be like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Again, mind your own business. I guarantee you look at porn.
Oh,
I guarantee you when you look at porn and you're jacking off, do you think like, oh, what is her home life like?
I honestly, I think it would be so fucking funny that if like rather than her walking out, like, which I think is a great move, walk out, whatever, is being like, cool. All right, cool. Hey, let's take a pause. Hand me your phones. Let me see your search history. Let me see your search history. Give me your phones. Let me see your search history.
But that's the thing. She might.
Let me see if you've jacked off to me.
That's the thing. She might be normal enough to not know how to deal with these guys.
Oh, 100%.
Because this is the thing where if you are also online and into the debate culture, quote unquote scene, these guys could be shut down easily.
Oh, 100%.
You just be like, what's with all these straw man arguments and false comparisons and changing the subject every time?
I really do feel like, like as a comedian.
If you were going to say that to them, it would really shut them down to just be like, no, explain yourself.
Yeah.
Don't change it. You don't get to change the subject. Explain yourself.
I do. Exactly.
And that's such a trap to them because they're so used to being able to change the subject and not have anyone be like, no, this is what we're talking about right now.
If you call somebody out online for having ADD, it really their brain. Because again, I'm getting like bombarded by Elon fans, and they'll literally like the second I challenge them, they'll split the second like, hey ADD, let's focus back up. Let's go over here, and they stop responding to me.
Mm-hmm. And you see that a lot on Twitter too. Like you'll see an account that just is a random bunch of numbers, and they'll come in and try to like say some inflammatory thing. And if it gets shut down, they just stop.
Yes,
responding.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't know if you're real or you're like a person in, I'm sorry to say this, probably India or something like that, or Russia, that's like literally in a bot farm that's like, oh, if I say this, like Elon's telling me to defend them, and here's the literally like a customer service
doing
code.
a job so their family can eat.
Exactly. It's literally that, and I really do feel like we have been sold like the end of an aisle, like buy now, 50% off sort of shit, like masculinity shit, protect your masculinity bullshit.
And that's another
on
thing.
Social media.
You can tell when people just have no self-esteem.
Oh, yeah. Because it's all projection through that shit. But we're really sold that shit through a gathering of troll farming and all that stuff to be like, here, this is what we're supposed to be talking about. It's supposed to be talking about that it later then projects to these fucking assholes here to be confronting real women, to having these real conversations with real women that are forcing them to be like, so why are you having sex on camera? And then when it really gets confronted, these real fucking ramifications happen where this month they're like, no, well, I really do pay taxes and I really do help out people. And yeah, I fucking suck dick for money, but guess what? It's not hurting anybody. Literally, I give back to my community. What the do you do? Like this. And then so this is what happens here. This annoying ass hyena. Ha ha ha. You know how like when
is your family well traveled?
Well, it's that
like, is that some gotcha?
You know that you ever been in that scenario when you're like you are clearly being picked on and people are laughing when it's not that funny?
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
That's what's happening here. Like they're
No,
laughing.
they're in an echo chamber.
Yeah, they're laughing at like, ha ha. She said she was going. She said she was. She said something stupid. Like
Also, I do a podcast with other people. I know a fake podcast laugh. I know, and it's like the morning radio type shit that used to happen when we were younger. If you laugh, it covers up the fact that nothing funny just happened.
100%, 100%. But this is a bullying laugh.
Let me finish.
We know they want to be in the UK now.
They've obviously been other places, but the plan was if they liked the motorhome.
No, but like other countries.
So he's
You
trying.
know what, I'm going to get off
Yep.
now. You lot are the most disrespectful people I've ever met.
What? We was only joking.
No, trust me, you lot are getting rich as shit now.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
It is funny too that they're doing this out of an apartment. They're not in a podcast studio.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're trying to portray the podcast as a way they're not. They're trying to act like their podcast is bigger than it is.
Yeah.
And by the whole setup of it. And the fact that they're like shocked now or pretending to be shocked she's leaving. It's like, you don't want us, like, there's almost this thing of like, I thought we were friends.
Wait, you're serious? Were you you serious? You could just like have autonomy? Are you fucking serious then?
No, you have to sit here and listen to me make fun of you.
This bird really flying away? This bird really? She taking a trolley?
That is mad.
This guy is the biggest cuck because I feel like he doesn't feel that way. He wasn't even talking. That is mad, right, guys? Hey, like, you like me, right? Like, hey, guys.
Well, there's also someone on the podcast who always doesn't want to be there. And it changes up when there's three people. It changes up.
This guy is there to be the bully. When these two, when there's not a guest, these two bully this guy, unfortunately.
Probably, yeah.
And when he's not there, these other two guys, that's what happens.
So the kids want to be in the UK because they're going to go to Chester, to Sheffield, to Cornwall.
Guys, do you think we did anything wrong there? Like, were we...
She was just delusional, mate.
She was just
You can tell,
delusional.
and this is one of those things too. When you f up, you have that moment where you sit around and be like, "Did I? Did I just?" And then you realize in your head, "Oh yeah, I probably did."
Was I
like,
the baddie?
Tell me if I f***ed up, because I'm kind of thinking I might have.
So stupid.
The fact that you don't know is yes, you f***ed up.
So they go on to be like, no, let's leave the camera rolling because her boyfriend's outside. Like a bunch of bitches, dude. Like, let's leave the camera rolling just in case we need to get in a fight.
Well, just because we might have more content to farm.
Yes.
And try to exploit this situation even more.
So obviously, like, just a truly shitty, just the idea of like inviting as a like, and now, so I'm going to speak from my perspective, like inviting a guest over and just to like rail them on like, hey, why the fuck are you an OnlyFans? Like the podcast I was thinking of earlier, Fresh and Fit podcast does this all the time too. They literally hire OnlyFans models to come into their podcast and pay them. And then he just makes fun of them. It's a classic move of like, hot girl, good for cameras. And then I'm going to talk about how you're useless. And then meanwhile...
And that appeals to that type of crowd because they're like, I want to look at a hot girl, but also I hate women. And I want them to be demeaned.
And then those same models will then go on to say, after their appearances, their subscriber numbers go up. So it's like why aren't we should be talking about both of those things. And yeah,
the last thing these guys want to talk about is the amount of porn they consume on their own.
Yes.
Or I knew somebody who does OnlyFans, and she says she makes most of her money through phone sex.
Oh, interesting.
And that dudes love to do it while they're at work.
Oh my God.
Like guys who have their own offices and stuff are in there like jerking off to porno and stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Having phone sex with OnlyFans models while they're on the clock. So it's like these guys are more than just wanting to look at porn, a lot of them. They're wanting to interact with a woman.
But anyways, that's just one example of a white man having a podcast. Here's another example. And we'll try to make this quick.
See, this is what I said. It's every week for white guy podcasts.
Okay.
There's just a genre now of dickhead white guy podcast.
It's truly, but this is a.
So good. I don't talk.
So, if I were to ask you why this man is crying, why would you guess
I don't
why?
talk.
Kansas City Chiefs fan after the
This
Super Bowl.
is day 18.
Oh wait, he's Australian.
I don't want to show. I don't want to show people that I cry. Do I? Do it.
Would you be surprised to find out that the reason why he's crying is because his podcast guest said, "No, I don't want to come on your podcast."
Rejection hurts, man. Rejection hurts. Maybe he reached out to someone he looks up to.
So no, it's way stupider. That man's name is Jack McIntosh, and the person he was reaching out to was Jordan Tan. Jordan Tan is they're all Australian. And I feel like Australia is taking over American culture. I feel like they're very big online. I don't know what it is. They've got funny accents.
My friend's a tour guide, and he says frequently Australians come over and they're like, "I like Donald Trump."
And I feel like America loves Australian people. I
don't. I meet so many that because in LA we're the closest big city, and you fly in from Australia.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of Australian tourists here. They are drunks.
They are drunks.
And
they're so entertaining. I think that's why. But they're a very diverse culture.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like. But so, anyways, Jordan Tan. She's just a creator online, I guess, from that. But Jack McIntosh is doing this thing called rejection therapy, where he just reaches out to people and is posting about his experiences of getting rejected. And he wanted to podcast with her and obviously be rejected by her, but I guess he wasn't ready for this rejection.
I mean, I guess this is also part of the therapy.
Yeah.
You got to get rejected sometimes.
But he's been getting rejected. So this was the video that made him cry.
I just got this voice message from 2 men in Perth who are apparently in the mental health and wellness space. Now, straight off the bat, it may seem like their intentions are pure, even though if we unpack a few of those things that they said to me, it's very weird. Anyway, I asked what their intention was and if there was like a project that they are looking to work on together, or if they're interested in me like speaking and sharing my experience in any kind of way on social media.
This is the best part.
That's what I do. And this is what they said.
Yes, yeah, we totally understand that because we are definitely similar at times in terms of business. Yeah, the intention is literally just to understand perspective. Maybe we can give a bit of our perspective. Might help each other learn something. But yeah.
That is so vague. Like, what do you mean? Anyway, being the kind person that I am, I gave them the opportunity to walk away with some kind of dignity. And I said, unfortunately, this doesn't align with me and I don't picture an outcome that I'm fulfilled by. But if you're really interested in my perspective, feel free to continue on following my social media journey. And I would also recommend reading some literature written by women or donating to charities that support us. I've attached some links. I literally sent like
So she's like, "No, I don't want to chat with you, but here are some books you could read to be a little bit smarter, you dumb piece of shit."
I was with her until she said social media journey. Oh my God. Don't describe your life as that, lady.
I love this so much. Like, just in general, being like, "No, I don't want to hang out with you. I think you're too stupid. Actually, I will do your podcast, but first, read a book first." It's so great to me. I love that so much. Here are these books. After you read these books, maybe I'll do your podcast. I love it so much.
I mean, the funniest thing to tell the debate culture bros is to read.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Because they really do get their information from memes and from graphics that don't have sources and statistics they read from social media pages.
Yes. And here's the best part of that part of it is that
It's the past 2 years, like, fuck. Single day. I'd like to think I've changed me and be a better me every single day. I'd like to think I've changed Floyd in the past 2 years. Like,
And his homie comes in for the hug.
Good. I don't talk. I don't want to show. I don't want to show people that I cry. Do I? But I'm gonna do it because I care a lot. I care a lot that I have changed because there was a time where I wasn't
pause it for a second.
I felt so guilty.
Do you think that he thought this podcast appearance was going to parlay into him getting a date?
Oh, maybe.
I'm thinking that now.
You do.
I didn't used to think that, but I'm thinking now is he's so delusional and stupid. He thought he could talk to this woman, convince her that he and Min are actually pretty good.
Oh.
And then once she sees that, then she'll be like, well, you're so smart and you convinced me I should date you.
We should date now. Actually, men are good, and actually, you're the best man.
I really do think that that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's, these are, there's the Captain Fix-A-Hoe. You know what I mean? They're all trying to
Captain Save a Hoe.
Save a Hoe, yeah.
I mean, you could try to fix a hoe as well. You're not supposed to save or fix a hoe, according to rap music.
Thankful, Jordan, because as for the rejection therapy stuff, you guys have got so much to say about it. So much to say, but little would you know.
Oh my God.
When I was a kid, I used to struggle to ask my parents questions. I used to struggle to ask any questions to anyone because I was scared. I was scared of hearing no. I don't know why, but I was.
Because you can't handle it, bro. Everybody's scared of hearing no. But that's part of life, bro. Shut the fuck up.
So as much as it seems like fun and games, and I might be hurting people, my intentions are so pure. I just want to get better. I really...
Oh my God.
This is such the incel thing of being like, I'm a good guy. I'm just really such a good guy.
I really do. And fucking Macias, I'm actually so glad this is happening. I'm really grateful. I've learned a lot. You don't have to tell me how much creepy men have been to women because me, I've done some weird shit. And I'm happy to own.
Oh, weird thing to say.
So he's trying to make amends now.
Oh, you don't have to tell me how creepy because I've been creepy. Cool. Okay. Couldn't tell that by the weird mustache you have at 23 years old.
Dude, let's talk about this also. The mustache mullet thing.
Why,
coming
guys?
With right-wing losers.
You're telling on yourselves.
I was at Disneyland this week, and oh boy, that's where those people go.
Oh, yeah.
Also, those shirts that say, I put ketchup on my ketchup? That's where people go to wear those. You see those on like Facebook ads or some social media ad, and you're like, who the would wear that?
The suggested ad, right? Yeah.
Apparently adults and kids who go to Disney.
I put ketchup on my ketchup. Okay, but there is one part where he talks about the books.
The reason I asked why is because I was genuinely curious. I'm a curious person. I just didn't see the harm in it. I've never read a book, and so when you send me these...
And again, debate bro culture run wild. Please, you have to explain. Everything needs a logical reason, and I need to hear it.
If I just don't respect anybody that says I've never read a book.
That seems impossible. Have you gone through like public education system? Did you like just pretend?
That
makes me think you are illiterate, probably.
You've never read a book? You've never read a book? How is that possible? I mean, I was not a good student in school. I mean, I went out of my way to better myself after school and read books.
I mean, I read To Kill a Mockingbird. I read the books they forced us to read.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they had to grab my face and put my face into a book and read a book. Like I had to read books. Like, what are we talking about?
Books, I don't want to say it goes over my head, but when people tell me to read any book, whether I have a fear of reading books, I don't know, but I have never read a book before. I learned through
You're scared of books?
Other people, good or bad, that's just me. All I can do is be me.
You are a fucking dumbass, dude. I don't like...
Proudly stupid.
Just proudly ignorant, like a moron. Like a moron.
I would read those books, but I'm scared. Like, this guy has like some severe anxiety, maybe ADHD, ADHD.
Yeah. Wait, what's ADHD?
Autistic.
Oh, Yeah. Because it's all spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, because now they're realizing that autism and ADHD go very hand in hand with a lot of people.
Yeah, I love the idea that like men with a podcast are getting their comeuppance. So shout out for that. Bad week for men with a podcast, coming with two men with podcasts. But
it's always a bad week in my life.
Yeah, truly. But just to let you know, I love books. And
what's your favorite book?
My favorite book is actually right behind you. It's called The Way of Kings. I just finished the first series by Brandon Sanderson. I love it so much. It's actually about bettering yourself, told through the guise of a epic fantasy. I very highly recommend it. Actually, it's funny. Men online. I speaking of men, illiterate men. The book, just this first part of the series, just came to an end, and the YouTube book talk hate it because it is not bam swords epic man fightness.
Oh, they want some dragon fighting.
They want dragon fighting, and it is not that. It is actually like a little bit more psychological, and I think it's really more designed for like a child to be reading it, the book is categorically, guys, the series is for kids. It's got little fairies dancing around, and it's got kid humor. If you don't think that, you're an idiot. By the way, YouTubers out there, it's for kids. Way of Kings is for kids, guys. It's for kids. So
I agree.
It's a cartoon, guys. It's a cartoon. I think it's designed for little kids to learn, hey, get over your depression, get over your like mental. This is how one can better themselves. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But what about you? What's your favorite book? Do you have a favorite book?
Hard to say. I don't really have a favorite. I've never had a book that I needed to reread or felt anything like that. I've read a bunch of books. I used to read George Carlin's books.
Oh,
which are basically like his jokes.
Yeah.
And some other stuff. Last year I read Maria Bamford's book.
I'll be in your cult.
Yeah.
It's on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's an easy read.
Nice.
It's funny. It's not, it's not like an intense novel with a story. It's it's about her life and stuff. It was fun.
But this is coming from two men who do read books. He's an idiot. We highly suggest everybody should go read some books, right, Sam?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, go.
Not all of them.
Yeah,
some of them are bad.
Yeah, there's some books that are bad. There's that guy who has that. Speaking of mustache, he's written some bad books.
And I feel like there's just as bad books that people probably read.
Yeah,
maybe more often.
Yes.
In America, Mein Kampf.
Yeah. The Mein Kampfs are there's definitely some bad
I feel
ones.
Like a lot of Nazis aren't even smart enough to grasp Mein Kampf. They got to go with, the Dungeons and Dragons racist book.
There's going to be an audio book of Elon Musk reading Mein Kampf eventually one day.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's going to be crazy. It's like when the Nazis realized that autism falls under the not in the master race. Elon Musk is gonna be like, "Whoa, hey,
yeah,
hey, wait, hold on." That's
they all think it's not gonna happen to them.
Yeah. But hey, so we're coming to the end of the show here. Should we try to do a freestyle rap that encapsulates everything?
I guess. I don't know. We've
ready?
talked about so much.
Okay. Let's see. Cutthroat. Yeah?
I don't know. Let's turn it down a little bit. I think this could be something. This is a classic royalty-free beat right here.
It's royalty-free. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
This is your idea. You gotta set it off.
Yeah. Okay. Hey. We were talking about some crime-spree Lee rocking a TV for that GHB. Wanted that Magnese, but now he's free of all the crime sprees because he's on that breeze. He's flying that breeze with this sailboat, I needed some extra glow in this gears.
He's on a sailboat with the OnlyFans model coming through, and he's still popping bottles of GHB every day. Listen to podcasts in every way. If they're run by Nazis, run by incels, man, I'm gonna not know how to spell, cause I never read a book. I'm scared of them, and I'm scared of women.
You know what? I'm gonna put out a hit for this ramen that does not quit. I tell you what, if you throw a bad review, I'm gonna say goodbye to your next shoe.
Stab your whole family if you come in my restaurant and don't hand me a 5-star review. You gonna bleed out your ass. That's what I need. I'm violent in the Yakuza. Come through and you know I'm a bruiser. If you leave a bad review about my ramen, I'ma come to your house with a Tommen gun, and I'm gonna lay you down for fun. Violent to your family, and I'm the one you don't wanna mess with. I got a ramen knife, stick it in your chest, bitch.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. I know I invited you, but you gotta go. You didn't leave very much abruptly, but I gotta say I do enjoy you muchly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I would love to come through on and again,
and
anytime
again, and
you got
again.
me. Yeah, and I had a lovely time.
Crime Free.
Shout out to who produced this.
Free Old School Dark Beat by Syndrome.
Okay, Syndrome.
Thanks so much, Syndrome. That was pretty good. You were better than me, obviously.
It's from my GHB days. You spend a lot. Like I said, when you're a drug addict, you have nothing to do. You joke around, you freestyle rap.
Yeah.
You sold all your instruments. You can't play rock anymore.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start doing drugs and start doing freestyle rap. But Sam, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You nodded. There was such a quiet nod there that I legitimately thought I messed up your name. It's like, am I on drugs? Did it say?
No, I'm just I'm at the end of a podcast. I don't know what to do. I'm like, am I supposed to say bye? Am I supposed to promote my social media or upcoming shows, which no one cares about?
No. Thank you so much for coming on. And where can people find you? And you got anything coming up?
Sam Harter 666 on Instagram, Slam Harter on Blue Sky. We're not doing the Nazi app anymore.
Hell yeah.
They can also find me at the Goods from the Woods podcast.
Yes.
Available on every platform.
Hell yeah.
Also YouTube. We are on there every Thursday at 5 Pacific time.
Live?
Doing a live stream.
Oh, cool.
This is when we do our IRL, our whatever we're doing. This week we stayed in because my friend hurt his leg because we stayed at Disneyland for 14 hours. It was fun though.
That's cool.
I would have stayed for 15.
Just one more.
Yeah. Catch me on there. I don't remember any of my shows off the top of my head. Probably not that.
You're gigging it out there, man.
I try.
Guys.
I went to an open mic yesterday. There was a man named Wolf Spit. I felt scared for my life at one point.
God, these open mics are so crazy. But everybody should go check out Sam. He is an incredibly funny man. His stand-up is he's one to watch. I'm telling y'all, folks, please go check him out. You can follow me at Adam R. Mac for weekly sketches, and you can get in these comments to defeat Elon's fake account and or hired bots out there with me, because I need your help, folks, on these viral videos. But you can also follow me or follow this podcast at That Was Wild Pod on all of the social platforms. Leave us a 5-star review. Unlike the ramen place, I will not put a hit out on you. I will put a love bomb out on you.
It'd be crazy if you put a hit out on someone giving you good reviews.
I'll put a hit out on you because I'm gonna hit
you with a kiss.
I'm gonna hit you with a kiss. And I'm gonna hit that ass next time I see you. Just a little love tap. But anyways, please leave a 5-star review on iTunes. It really helps us out. I haven't seen a new one in a while, so please, if anybody's listening,
Are you slouching?
You guys slouching? I know you guys are probably all watching this on YouTube, but just let Apple know that this show is good.
Download iTunes.
Just download iTunes or whatever. Apple Podcasts. Download Apple Podcasts real quick. Leave a 5-star review. Don't even write anything down. Just leave a 5-star review and it helps us out. But
right, I really love the freestyles. You should do it every episode.
Be like, Adam told us he put a hit out on us. And there might be a mass shooting if I don't do this. But anyways, thank you so much for watching the show. Sam, we're going to end this like we always do.
Okay.
We're going to look down the barrel of that camera and we're going to say that was wild. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, on the count of 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. That was wild!
It's time to get wild.